Hello. Let me see if I'm live already. Yes, I am. Okay, welcome to my live today. Today is Wednesday, the 17th of September. It's 6 o'clock p.m. UK time. I'm only just started. And for those who don't know me yet, I'm a therapist and coach, and I come here in my free time to do my best to engage with you and talk about anything you would like me to talk about, so long as it's related to mental health, therapy, mindset, mindfulness, psychology, human behavior, relationships, and any of those things. And so, as usual, when I get started, there's very little attendance. It takes some time to build up. So because of that, and because I need to show people what I'm about, I'm going to read about some of my posts. I'm going to read and comment on some of my own posts to give you an idea of what I do. And so hopefully that will give some of you some inspiration about some conversations that you may want to have with me. So let me find out. Today with the 17th, I'm going to go back to the 17th. Let me go back. I know, gosh, I'm such ahead in terms of my videos that I was a month beforehand. So we are in September still. Bear with me, please. This is live. Okay, let's get started. First post that I put out yesterday on TikTok goes like this. Reacting to your environment is validating and reinforcing what you are reacting to. So what it means is that whenever we're reacting to whatever is happening around us, people, situation, thoughts, feelings, also even inside of us, we are feeding it energy. We're giving it more strength, more reality, more pervasiveness. And we want to realize that whatever reality we're experiencing is a reality that we have created. And so by reacting to the reality that we have created ourselves, now we are confirming, we are validating it, we are reinforcing it, and we are now being caught into a little trap that we have created for ourselves, and it is totally unnecessary. If we can realize this, we can learn how to create a space between us and the events so that we don't need to react to everything. When we react to something or someone, we are giving it our attention and we are giving it our power. So typically, if you think about narcissists, for instance, what they want is to get us to react. Because if they can provoke us so that we are triggered, now we're showing them that they have us under their thumb. They can control us. They can do whatever they want to do with us. They can manipulate us. And so this is an extreme case. Not everyone is a narcissist. But I want to realize that when we are reacting to something, we're giving our power away. Now there are instances where we must react. When we are protecting our boundaries, when we are standing up for what we believe is right, when we are trying to do something against something that is that we should not allow, now it's not a bad thing to react. Because now we are reacting to that thing and we want to change it. But very often we react, but there's no action that are following. It's just an emotional reaction and it doesn't change the state of things anyway. And so reacting to your environment, remember, is validating, confirming, and reinforcing what you are reacting to. So if you can, know when to react and when not to react. Next post. Study finds that 1 minute of anger weakens the immune system for 5 hours, leaving you more vulnerable to infection and disease. And this includes repressed anger and frustration. And so when we are containing some emotions, we're not processing them, we're not letting them out, it is affecting our very physical health over time. And not just over time, right away, so based on the studies, for 5 hours, our immune system is knocked down. And the way our body functions and all the basic requirements, functions of our body are now going to be affected. And so digesting, regulating our nervous system, whatever that our body is meant to be doing is going to be weaker at it because we have used so much energy either expressing that anger or even worse, holding it. So both are just as bad. So I want to realize that emotions are energies that we go through, that are happenings, and we must accept them and learn how to understand them and how to process them healthily. Third post that I put yesterday. God is a projection of your consciousness. It is who or what you need God to be for your reality to make sense. And so this is not to diss God, it's just that God is something different for all of us. For some people, God doesn't even exist, and it's okay, because they don't need it. For those who believe in God, in whichever form that we believe it is something that we need to make sense of our existence, of our reality, of our world. And the irony behind this is that some people are going to attack me because they don't accept the idea that their beliefs are not universal. How dare I be so blasphemous? But by doing so, they're actually reinforcing and confirming what I'm saying. They need God to exist so much that they will require anger and judgment and attack to sustain their own belief and make sure that they're doing the best, that everyone shares it with them. And those who don't, they must be destroyed. So now let me see if there's any comments yet. I can see there. For some reason, I can't move the screens. I think I'm mistaking YouTube for TikTok, so maybe I'll stick to that screen. Kay Stevens, hi. Hello, Kay Stevens. Sarah, hi. Hello as well. Daniel, hello, man. I sent £300. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean. I sent £300 to whom? To me. How did you do that? If you did, thank you. That's always welcome. But I'm not sure what you mean. Maybe we're going to find out what is the context of that comment. Daniel, hi, hello. All the words are taken. Hello, all. Greetings to everyone. Hello to you. All the words are taken. Mr. Dark, message retracted 3 times. So I don't have any questions yet. So I'm going to continue with reading and commenting on my own post. Maybe I'll do another 3. And hopefully we can start a conversation about anything you would like to know about how to improve any aspect of your life from those places. I got a question. So let's address this straight away from AI. So what is your understanding of death? So now we're talking about spirituality. Let's talk about this. I love psychology and spirituality, and they're actually very, very intertwined because our perspective of spiritual makes a huge difference into the way we're going to function psychologically and the way we're going to experience our reality. And so to me, death is an illusion that is part of our human adventure. I don't believe that there's an end. I believe that we are infinite consciousness, and we are always there. We're always here in one shape or another, in one dimension or another, in one place or time, place and time as another. And so because we are experiencing the human experience, we need to believe that there's birth, there's middle, and there's end. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to know what it is to be human, to know what it is to have one life that is precious. If life was ongoing, it wouldn't have any value. We wouldn't care about anything because there's always more time, and also at some point we'll be jaded, we'll be bored because we've done it all, we've been there for thousands of years. And so the fact that life is finite makes it precious and special. And this is why we need to have an illusion of death in our human experience so that we can make the most of that experience that is our human experience. That is who we are in this planet, in this life, in this dimension now. And so this is what I believe. I believe in quantum spirituality in the sense that we are going to, a lot of people are starting to share this sort of belief, and it's applying the principles of quantum physics in spirituality. And so, in other words, all realities exist at the same time, and we're only experiencing one reality. But because we are experiencing the reality of the human being, the consciousness that we are, which is the experiencer, needs to be limited and confined by the belief of the ego, of the human being, of the person, of the identity, of the past, of whatever that happened to us. And so, in that sense, not only death is part of it, and we can absolutely learn how to detach ourselves from the fear of it, but also even from a psychological perspective, all the pain, the hurt, the wounds, the trauma that we endure in childhood, if we can realize that it's part of our identity as a human being, we can use spirituality through mindfulness and meditation to learn how to let go of those attachments and realize that we're so much more than that. And so when I am observing myself from the outside of my body, in that moment, I am not the human anymore. I am not me. I'm not in pain anymore. I don't have insecurities, fear, wounds, sadness, depression, none of those things. In that moment, are there because I'm watching it from the outside. So that's a different way to address our problems. And it doesn't work for everyone, but for those who do, it's a great asset. It's a great extra tool to use in our toolbox to address our emotional wounds and move on and grow and expand our perspective of the world. There you go. That was for AI. What do you think about what I just said? All the words are taken. Didi, recently I heard a quote. Never attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence. Game changer as a child of a narcissist. So it's a tricky one because I don't believe in malice and I don't believe in incompetence. I understand psychology, and so we judge people. People are malicious, they're bad, they're nasty, they're naughty, and they're incompetent, they're stupid, they're lazy, they're not trying hard enough. And this is just judgment. Because in reality, we are what we are. We don't choose any of those traits. And we are only any of those things within a certain context, from a certain perspective. And so from the perspective of people who are judging us, parents, teachers, Buddhists, we may be stupid, ugly, idiot, lazy, whatever, and it's just a judgment. I don't believe that anyone is malicious. People may take some actions, say some words, have behavior that are malicious, but they're not inherently malicious. They have developed those habits because of X, Y, Z, and it's the same thing with being incompetent. I talk about it quite a lot. No one is stupid. And yet we're all stupid. Stupid is just a judgment. It's contextual. We're stupid within a context. And so we're all stupid within a lot of context because we don't know everything. And so being stupid only means that we don't know something in regards to that context. That's it. But there are some contexts where we are very clever, where we're very good, where we're very talented, very special. But if we say that someone is stupid, now we're dismissing the whole character of that person. That person is always stupid. He or she is always stupid. Instead of thinking, maybe that person doesn't know something, and so instead of being self-righteous and nasty and judgmental, I can be kind, I can be compassionate, I can be helpful, and I can teach them. I can explain to them, okay, maybe you didn't realize this, but da-da-da-da-da-da. Just like that, now we're changing relationship, dynamic, energy, we're changing the world and our relationship with it. So that was for the incompetence bit. But also now, back to your first comment, never attribute to malice. Again, no one chooses to be malicious. We do things out of reactivity to regulate our nervous system, to stay safe, because we had some trauma, because we have some conditions. And I get it very well because I'm like that. I just want to check something, please, quickly. I used to be very malicious for 38 years of my life because of my conditions, because of my trauma, because of the problems, the hardship I've been through in my childhood and my teenagehood. But I never chose that, and I hated that, and I've changed now. I've changed heaps. I'm no longer the same person. I used to be very angry, very aggressive, very reactive, very anxious, depressed, very suicidal, very a lot of things, destructive, toxic, like nasty. But I've changed. But back then, I remember thinking to myself, I hate myself for doing what I've done. I hate myself for saying the things that I say. I hate myself for not having any other way to interact with people and the world. That's all that I know. And that's precisely why I did those things, because that is all that I knew. And so we don't want to judge people as being malicious or incompetent. This is judgmental, it's unkind. We are perpetrating some habits that have created so much shame, guilt, and mental and emotional problems to the vast majority of us unnecessarily. So now that I've said that, let me try to address your quote and see if I can break it down in ways that are helpful in regards to your question. never attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence. So basically, don't believe that people are being nasty because they are nasty, but because they are incompetent. So now I understand what you mean. What you are saying is that sometimes people behave in ways that are malicious because they are ignorant. So in that, under that perspective, I agree. It's true that, and so that goes back to what I'm saying. One of the things that I was saying is that sometimes we behave in ways that are frowned upon by society because we don't know any better, and that's our own way, our only way to feel safe, to protect ourselves, to regulate our nervous system. And so in that light, yes, it makes sense, and I do agree with you. I just wanted to really highlight, because it's part of my conversation, how we should learn how to stop judging and start understanding instead. I hope it makes sense, but thank you for the quote, and I get it. Yes, I do agree with that. Very often we just do whatever we can, and the truth is that we only ever do that anyway. We only ever do what we know. We never do what we don't know. We always do our best. We only do ever what we can, and that's for the whole of us. And so we must be kind to ourselves and realize it's not that I was horrible to them. I'm not a bad person. I didn't know any better. I didn't know what else to do. I was put into a corner. That's the only way I know how to deal with situations every time that I'm caught and pushed into a corner. Or maybe I'm a people pleaser and I did something and I regret it, or whatever that it may be. Most of the things that we do when we have some unhealed trauma is to regulate our own nervous system. And so being unkind to people, attacking them back, is the system to defend and protect. But also lying is a very common way many of us regulate our nervous system with. Gossiping also is a way to regulate our nervous system. Binge eating, scrolling on the phone and the internet, those are all ways to help ourselves regulate our nervous system. Even workaholism, working so much, a lot of people do that, and they don't realize that they are addicted to it because it's the only system that we have to feel better about themselves. They're distracting themselves from a feeling that is lingering in their body. And the only way they can do this is by working like crazy and thinking, at least I'm productive. I'm serving my family, I'm serving my community, my company, or whatever it is. And this is how so many of us end up being burnt out. And so, yep, what do you think about what I said? All the words are taken. K. Stevens, good afternoon, Didi. Can you tell me how to handle an odd voice of a family member who said you are my favorite person and the point to saying that? Thanks. Okay, so someone from your family said to you, you are my favorite person. And the point to saying that, it depends. Do you get along with that person? Do you have a nice history? Do you have some good memories? Or has it been problematic and hurtful? Which one is it? Because it's either one or the other. If you get along, it means that they want you to know that they love you and they wanted to make sure that you knew it. But it could also be, if you didn't get along with them, a way from them to love bomb you, to try to manipulate you. So I need to know the context. Could you tell us maybe who it is, but most importantly, what sort of relationship you have with that person and how it makes you feel as well. Roy Azukena. Bro, I would literally trust you giving my non-existent daughter her first tattoo. Lol. I'm not a tattooist. I wear them, but I don't do them. So you shouldn't trust me to do a tattoo on your daughter, but thanks anyway. I'm sure that it is somehow a compliment from you. All the words are taken. I don't necessarily consider incompetence stupidity, more like you can't model what you don't know. Incompetence, I think it's a kind of word to say stupidity. Because if you think about it, it means the same thing. It's the inability to do something or to say the right thing within that conversation, that context, that situation. So this is how people are deemed stupid or not, and competent is pretty much, is very connected. I understand that it's not as mean, but for me, it's just, again, I understand where you're coming from, but I always take every opportunity that I can to highlight how we should change the way we speak and see and treat others, to try and create a kinder world for all of us. That's a big part of my conversation. But I understand that you were not. I'd never meant to assume that this is who you are, this is what you do. I'm just taking the opportunity to explore those conversations whenever those opportunities arise. AI. So you believe we are just here experiencing life as human? Yes, but dimension. If so, then what is the end goals? Are we God's own consciousness, like a dream? We are God. There's no end goal. When you think about end goal, you are looking at things from the perspective of the human. The human understands things within a frame. It needs a frame, otherwise it doesn't understand. Everything is relative. And so when it comes to our perspective, it's got to be a start, an end, and a middle. This is what humans need to make sense of anything. And so you're asking, what is the end goal? But there's no end goal. It's just what is, it's happening. If I was going to put into words an answer that reflects your perspective, what you say, I'd say the end goal is just to expand. This is. The universe is constantly expanding. And so the end goal is for us to experience our human experience, so that as we expand our human experience, we're also expanding the universe, since we're a part of it. And I don't believe that there's difference between us and God. We are God. We are the universe. We are a fragment of it. And we have to forget that we are God in this moment, because otherwise we wouldn't be experiencing the human experience. So we need to forget about it. And we need to believe in all of those beliefs that humans have created over zillions of years. If so, then what is the end goals? Are we God's own consciousness, like a dream? Yes. So we are consciousness, we are God, and we're a fragment of God, and we have to forget that we are it, so that we can experience the wholeness of the human experience, with all its fear, pain, hurt, anger, despair, but also joy, hope, dreams, creativity, love. It's all part of our human adventure. But if we knew that we're a God, and if we knew that we're infinite, none of us would matter. So this is the frame, the context that our experience is giving us, so that we can fulfill that experience. All the words are taken. It helps me be less paranoid and realize self-awareness is gradient. Okay, so paranoia, we can talk about it. What are you paranoid about? Self-awareness is gradient. So what you mean by this is that self-awareness is progressive and happens on many different levels, and the dimension is not unilateral, it's not unidimensional, in which case I would agree with you. Natalie Howarth, I love your content, Didi. Thank you so much, Natalie. Thank you. I'm glad you do. Kay Stevens, yes, an alcoholic grandmother who was manipulative, got no affection from my grandfather, parentified me. I suppose about the favorite thing I couldn't be as the ideal. So what matters here, so I don't know everything, but the main thing about it is for you to pay attention to how you feel. What is your body telling you? What is your intuition telling you? And just follow the instructions. Right? It's not about what is right, what is wrong, what should I do. There's no should. There's no what is. There's only how you feel about things. And how you feel about things are telling you where you are at this point in time in regards to all that. And so listen to how you feel, pay attention to intuition, to your emotions, to your body. And then, if it feels wrong, you know that maybe, you know what, thank you for the compliment, Grandma, but bye-bye, I've got things to do. You don't need to think about it. You're thinking, what does that mean? It doesn't matter what it means. It could mean millions of things, but as I said, maybe it means that they want to manipulate you, or maybe it means that they're changing. Could be that as well. We don't want to be all negative. Maybe they're changing and they're realizing I've been an a-hole to my grandkid, and so maybe now that I'm coming closer to the end of my life, I want to make amends, I want to reconnect, I want to give ourselves a chance to heal. Maybe that could be possible. Or it could be just them trying to manipulate you because they think that it's the end and they still want to have some grasp over you. I don't know. But your intuition and your body knows. So don't listen to me, listen to your body. Pay attention to how you feel, and your intuition is always right. Does it help? Because also remember that we are all doing whatever we can. I was also an alcoholic. I was also very angry and manipulative and horrible, and I have changed. And I believe that we all have the potential to change regardless of our age. I believe that actually, I do believe that we all change somehow at some point. And it may be in the very last minute of us being alive and we can realize, this happened. And now we are going with that understanding because our whole experience is to learn about ourselves. And so those are the lessons. I hope it makes sense. What do you say, Kay? AI, you put it well. I also understand the universe as one, so we are a part of it. Yes, but my thoughts are my own or downloaded due to the emotions I am feeling at that point. Your thoughts belong to your human experience because you need to have thoughts and emotions and feelings to have a human experience. Your thoughts are not yours. Your thoughts are, as you said, they're downloaded. My thoughts are... I know you're asking me, but I think there's a missed typing. My thoughts are there, my own, or downloaded due to the emotions I am feeling at that point. So you're asking me. So if you're asking me, I'm going to say to you, your thoughts are automated. We don't choose our thoughts. Our thoughts are the result of the emotional program that we have created in childhood based on whatever happened to us, whatever we've learned, whatever we observed from the adults as we grew up. And so we have a subconscious automatic pilot that is emotional. It's triggering a lot of different emotions and feelings at different times. And this is how it works. In adulthood, we're going to go through our life, and there are some triggers everywhere, outside and inside. There are some cues. And those cues are going to trigger different type of emotions based on our program, based on how we believe we should feel whenever we're facing that visual, that situation, that conversation, those words, whatever that it is, that triggers it, that feelings, that emotion in my body. We react to our own feelings and emotions as well. And so now we have an emotion, and next comes a thought to back up, to explain cognitively the emotion. It goes in that order. And so we are emotional creatures. We react emotionally to everything inside and outside. And then right after, we need to have a narrative to explain from an intellectual perspective what that emotion means to us. So we have an emotion, and then right after, bang, we have a thought. And so that thought is not calculated, it's automatic. And now, because we have a thought, we're going to behave in a different way. We can let go of it, or we can hook that thought. And this is what we tend to do. And so now if we're going to think about that thought is going to create more emotions and feelings of the same original nature. And now we're going to be caught into a loop. We're going to recreate the same sort of thought, emotions, feelings kind of process because we don't understand our mind. And so basically that goes to the conversation that there is no free will. In those states, when we're going through our day-to-day routine, we have no free will. We're reacting to the world based on the program that we have about who we believe we are, what should I be doing, at what time, where and how and with whom, all those things, it's a program. And how should I react to internal and external stimulus? Having said that, there are times where we can actually upgrade the program. We can have access to free will. And that's when we're learning how to observe ourselves from the outside. In that moment, we're no longer the self. We're no longer caught in the eye of the storm and being overwhelmed by things and just reacting the way we should be reacting based on our program. In that moment, we are zooming out and we're seeing ourselves. We're realizing, this is me, the human, the body, the ego, the self, going through these things. And so through healing, through meditation and mindfulness, through a lot of different protocols, we can learn how to upgrade ourselves by learning how to come out of ourselves. So there's a lot of protocols, it's very specific. But if we don't know this, if we don't realize this, we're just going to continue every morning, every day, every night, the same routine that we do all the time because it is the program. I hope it makes sense. But the irony behind this is that we like to believe that we're almighty and intelligent, and we have choices and we take decisions. But all the choices that we have are limited by our emotional state, by our belief that are emotional. So whatever I'm going to choose is going to be allowed by what I believe is available to me. It's going to be allowed by how I feel about the situation. And that's the limitation of my choices. I will have the illusion of choice, but it is an illusion because it's a limited choice, and other people take other choices, but those choices were not available to me based on my belief, based on those, again, emotional triggers that are keeping me away from those choices. I hope it makes sense. Does it? AI? Veer Jane. Oh, hello, Veer Jane. Hey, what's up? Nothing to ask today. Have a great day. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to saying hello. And we have Ekatepa. Hello, Didi. Glad to see you. Thank you so much. And glad to have you on my life as well. Kay Stevens. Yes, her husband was an a-hole, and every situation has so many personal factors. I did learn about her past because it was important to learn her habits that I picked up, and had unhealed trauma. Thank you. Okay. So you were raised by your grandparents, and you understand that your grandma has suffered from your grandpa. Okay, so it all sounds that you have an idea of what is going on, right? I'm happy to have that conversation, but you need to ask me some things maybe that I could talk about. But other than that, it looks like you have an idea of what's going on, and you are relatively happy or going in a better direction, right? And I see some little heart emojis, so probably that confirms it. AI. So should we react to emotions at that point when something happens instead of holding on to those emotions and then acting later? No, we want to learn about emotional intelligence. So this is what we do through therapy, through self-development, through coaching. You want to understand how to deal with our emotions. And so there's a yes and there's a no. It depends. It depends on a lot of things. But essentially, the way we deal with our emotions is to realize that emotions are energies, and we want to do our best whenever appropriate to express, to feel, to acknowledge, to welcome, to invite those emotions so that they can do their things. Emotions are energies that we experience in our body, and they're vital. They're literally the one thing that makes our human experience human. So we must feel, otherwise we're going to create a lot of toxicity in our body. Thank you for the little hearts. We're going to create a lot of problems. And so we want to learn how to have a good relationship with anger, with sadness, with shame, with any of those things. We want to feel those things, and then eventually realize that if you can fully feel something, you can let go of it, because now you have processed it. Think about your emotions like different versions of yourself. We have something called the internal family system, and there are different ways to look at it, but there are many parts of you, and they are all there for a reason. They all exist for a different reason, and they're all a part of you. So they want your safety, they want your well-being. And the reason why different parts of you comes out at a different place, different time, is because your mind believes that those parts that are coming now, hijacking this moment, they're the most suited to deal with that situation at hand. But because we've been raised to have a lot of shame, to have a lot of fear, to have a lot of guilt, to blame ourselves, to blame others, those are beliefs that are creating problems. Because now we have some emotions that we don't want to feel. We may be scared of them, or we may be ashamed of them. And so some people may repress their anger, some people may repress their sadness, some people may repress their fear and anxiety by avoiding it. Right? If you feel anxious and you're addicted to something, you're trying to do something else to distract yourself away from the anxiety instead of feeling it and acknowledging it. So again, it's not that simple for everyone, but it's just a general idea of how we deal with things. And what we want to do is to realize that all emotions and feelings are there for a reason, and we can have a better relationship with them, and we can feel. And if we can do that, we realize that in 90 seconds, it's gone. The only reason some feelings and emotions last longer is because we think about those things. We're holding it back. And now it can stay hours, days, weeks, months, years, a lifetime, and get worse over time as well. So it's very important to realize that. Now, having said that, there are situations where you can't always express yourself the way that you want, because we live in society and not everyone understands psychology, and also not everyone has to deal with all problems. So if someone has borderline personality disorder, or for instance like me, and I'm getting very angry, it's not on them, it's on me, right? And so there are ways to deal with that. We can realize that, I can go out for a walk. And then, as I walk, I can do walking meditation and start to breathe and calm myself down. And eventually, I'll be back into a state of mental clarity, and I can come back to where I was, and we can have a conversation then. And so when it comes to emotion, when you feel the emotions, feel them as best as you can, or let them out the best way that you can. If you feel angry, shout. If you feel sad, cry. If you feel fear and anxiety, unless it's a panic attack, is the exception. But if you have some anxiety, learn how to be comfortable with it and pay attention to it and give it a platform. It's a version of you. You have many versions of you. There are your emotional mind, your child's mind. So they're like a little child that is you. And whenever you are repressing them or ignoring them, you're telling it, you don't matter to me. I don't love you. Shut up. I don't care. And now you're creating hurt within yourself. And now the child, because if you tell a child, go away, what is it going to do? It's going to keep pushing, it's going to keep coming back. So the only way really to let it out in a healthy way is to allow them to happen when they happen. But if they are extreme, if you have some conditions, if you have some trauma, now we can do some work before and after the moment. And this is a key thing that not many people talk about. In the moment, until we have worked on ourselves, there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can change. There's nothing that we can control. It is impossible. A lot of people don't understand the mind, and they believe you are not strong enough, you're not trying hard enough, you should control yourself. And they are creating more problems. They are the problems. Because we can't control. We can only repress. When we try to control our emotions, we are pushing them down, we are ignoring them, and they are amplified. They're getting bigger and bigger and more problematic. And at some point, they will come out in the wrong way at the wrong time, because we can't no longer hold them back. So that creates more problems. And so we want to realize that whenever we are going through a situation, we're reacting, and we are reacting emotionally, there's nothing we can do but react. We cannot choose an intellectual response in this moment. It's not possible, because it is precisely the program, and it's emotional and it's subconscious, and that's why we're acting, because we have created that program ourselves. Now, having said that, we can work on ourselves before and after, and that's where everything changes. We want to have awareness of that. But in the moment, the best thing we can do is to go for a walk, or jump into a cold shower, or shake to something to let go of that energy, of that stress, of that tension. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things we can talk about, but this is basically the basics of emotional intelligence. It's not just this or that, it's a skill, it's an understanding, it's learning about ourselves, about how our minds work, because we have many minds. And so, yeah, AI, you said program, so we're living in a simulation. When I say program, I'm talking about psychological program, emotional subconscious program, belief system program. That's what I'm talking about. The simulation is another conversation. We're talking now about the theory that reality is a video game, and it's possible. It's possible. And maybe God is a child that is just faffing around playing Sims, and we are the characters, and we don't know it. And because maybe AI has grown so clever in the next thousands of years, that this is what happens. We don't know. It's hard. We will never know, and it doesn't matter. But it's interesting to consider our perspective and see which one works best for us. Ekatepa. I had a period in my life when I was reading a lot of psychological books, which never helped me, okay? But then I started to go out in nature, and it had greater impact. Why didn't I benefit from the books? Because we're all different. Some people benefit from books. Some people benefit from certain books. Some people benefit from some people who have read the books and found a way to tell them the principles of the books in a way that is assimilable to them. So this is very important. It's not just about the book. It's about what sort of message, when we are ready for it, and how it's going to be transmitted, how it's going to be taught. But also because some of us, we don't do books. Some of us, as you said, prefer nature, animals, fresh air, meditation, mindfulness, reconnection with the divine through spiritual, holistic stuff. There's a lot of different ways to heal, right? And I don't knock out any system at all. I believe that all sort of things exist and nothing works for everyone. But there's at least one thing that will work for you at this point in time in your journey. So yes, thank you for the little heart. So yes, we're all different and it's okay. Find out what works for you. And you are going in the right direction. Thank you for the heart. Missy Peters, I got 2 things accomplished this week that had been pending since May. I keep the videos coming. Okay, good on you, good on you. So I'm reading through your comment that you are keeping focused into content creations. Is it what you mean? And maybe it was a journey for you that was challenging to go through or to get started with. Is that what you mean, Missy Peters? Kay Stevens, right? Thank you, fantastic. Thank you, Kay. AI, very true about emotions due to people's upbringing. Yes, we are all the result of our upbringing, every single one of us. So everything that we think, everything that we believe, everything that we feel, whichever way we react to anything at all those things are the program that is the result of our genetics, our upbringing, our environment. Because our environment is also important. The things that happen to us has created a program, but it is also reinforced by our environment. So the people we live with, our reality, our neighbors, our colleagues, the society that we live in, the community that we live in, are very important into the way we operate and our experience with reality itself. If I was brought up in a place where everyone is extremely conservative and they all share the same view of the world, it would be very hard for me to consider any alternative perspective, because that would be the common sense that everyone has. So this is my tribe, this is my gang, we all think the same, and so by deduction, anyone who's not like us, they're bad. And now we're creating division, clash, conflict, scapegoating, discrimination, and all of those things that we are seeing too much of, sadly. All the words are taken. Nature is essential to healing. Yes, yes. A lot of studies have demonstrated that when we spend more time in nature, it absolutely helps with healing anxiety. It helps our brain be healthier over time. Not just that, but it's a very important element because we are animals. No matter what we think we are organic, we are part of the ecosystem, and technology has been exponential. But not long ago, we were still living in the forest, in the jungle, and that was us, and it's okay. And so there's a lot of part of us that are still responding to nature. When we are surrounded by trees, we feel calmer, and as we feel calmer, as we feel reconnected to nature, to little birds, squirrels, butterflies, whatever, or very trees, plants, the smell of the plants, the energy of the trees. As we do that, we're feeling peaceful and calm. And the more we do this, the more we are teaching our brain how to be better at becoming calm. But of course, if we go out there every now and then, and 99% of the time we are living in a concrete jungle surrounded by stressed out people and psychopaths, it's not going to be enough on its own. But it's important to really realize that it's something that we should all do. I love this. I was talking to my husband earlier on. I've been for a walk. My local one, we have many parks around here in London, and my favorite one to go to do my walking meditations is Russell Square. So come and see me. If you come to London, I'm always there very often. I just walk, I look at the trees, and I'm chilling, and I'm loving it. And it's one of my favorite things to do. I really, really love it. It's so simple, I just walk. and I absorb my surrounding. I'm aware of, just 1 second, please. So yes, I was talking about my walking meditation. When I walk, I'm aware of my body. I'm aware of my breath. I'm aware of my hips moving. I'm aware of my feet touching the ground and the density of it. I'm aware of my posture, the cadence, the tempo that I'm walking. And then I'm aware of outside. I'm aware of the smell. I'm aware of the sounds. I'm aware of the sensations, the wind, the sun on my face. I'm aware of the visual, all the trees. And it's just like a dream. And I'm feeling so much at peace in those moments. So do this. If you have access to nature, walk outside regularly as part of your lifestyle and to reconnect with nature and for your mental health. Like, if you don't have access to nature, you can have access to still going out and looking up at the sky and the clouds. It's still fresh air. It's still sun, if there is sun, and there's still pigeons in the cities. So there are different ways to do this. Not everyone lives by the beach or on the top of a mountain. But yeah, thank you for the little hearts. Terra News. Terra is Terra. Hey, hello. AI, thank you for your thoughts on my views. My pleasure, of course. Ask me anything. AX, a philosopher covered in tattoos. I'm not a philosopher, but thank you. But it's not incongruent. If anything, philosophers should be a little bit different because they have a different perspective. And so they can express that different perspective through the way they look and come across, right? But I'm not a philosopher. I enjoy some aspect of philosophy because everything that I do is about the mind and human behavior. But I'm coming from a place of psychology, which is understanding more than philosophy. Philosophy is mental gymnastic, as in trying to see different perspectives, different systems of filtering reality. Whereas psychology is understanding all the spectrum of different perspectives that are displayed by humans. But, yep. AI, what's your background on studying human behavior due to environmental factors? Just me. Me being a therapist for 8 years, me being ADHD and obsessed with those sort of things for the whole of my life, me being a human being and having been through all of the things I've been through, all of those things has taught me and keep teaching me. And I am obsessed with that. I'm reading book all the time, I'm watching videos, I'm expanding my mind, and I look after people and I learn from every single client that I have, every single one. And I love this. My life has been a journey of growth ever since I started my own transformation. And so, yes, I study human behavior from the perspective of me and my past and my perspective as a therapist. And for the fact that I have ADHD and the power to hyperfocus, it's what I think about like 99% of the time. Like really, I talk about all the time to everyone. I have some things that I love, but this is really the thing that I'm obsessed about. It's my mission. I'm writing books about it. I'm creating contents. I'm looking after people. I talk to every single person that I meet about those things. And so that keeps on expanding my understanding of things. And yeah, I like to believe that I have reached a very decent level of observation and awareness. And it's constantly growing, and I'm very happy with myself. And it's a lifelong journey. All the words are taken. Thank you for speaking on the importance of nature and healing. Of course, of course. We are part of the ecosystem, and there's another element about it, and I've been thinking about it myself a lot lately. But it's in regards to, I don't want to be to be political, but it's in regards to our relationship with food, for instance. And so I used to be vegetarian and I get back to it, and now I'm back to being a pescatarian. I may have some chicken once a month, but I'm starting to really focus more on plant-based. And the reason why I'm having fish is personal. I may become vegetarian again or even vegan, but I believe that it's important for us to realize the bigger picture. There is an ecosystem. We have created a world that is not that is toxic to the world, and that's the world of meat production, meat eating. And so I believe that one of the ways we could really give back to Mother Earth is to be more mindful about what we eat and be more plant-based as best as we can. And so I understand that this is my best. I'm plant-based, I eat fish and eggs, and every now and then I've got some chicken. But I'm very mindful about the provenance of it, and I believe that at some point I will go back to veggie, if not even vegan, at some point in my life when I'm ready. But it's not about being this or that, it's just being mindful of it, so that we can all make a little difference, right? I often say, if we could apply Veggie Monday, for instance, just that, if everyone did that, there would be already a huge difference. There would be a huge difference. The production of meat has become obscene, and it's so toxic to the planet and to people and to animals, of course. So yeah. Kay Stevens, I know this is off course, but how do you feel about more research being done on the effect of viral infections affecting human behavior, where someone abruptly changes? Check out measles and the BBB. I'm sure that a lot of people do this. So there are all sorts of different fields of science, and different studies and researches are done every day all the time. And so I'm sure that some things will happen. Now, the reason why some studies are more prevalent than others is because, more often than not, because they're funded by some companies who have something to sell. So they want people to do studies to back up what they are selling. Sadly, it's the state of things. It's not always like that, but the vast majority of the studies that we see around are funded by companies that have an agenda. And that's why, if you go on the internet, there are studies for everything. There are a lot of studies that are opposite, that are contradictory, because everything is down to a narrative. So when you do a study, it's like the news, information. Whatever that the news give us is only what it is, passed through the filter of a narrative that they have chosen to give because they have an agenda. So nothing is ever what it is. Everything is always tainted with an agenda. And it's the same thing with studies and researches, right? And so that's why a lot of very important studies are not being conducted, because either there's no fund, no one has got anything to sell, or because it goes against what they are already selling. But but it's true that all sorts of studies should happen, and I'm sure that some are happening in some capacity in regards to what you talk about. Yes, I would agree with that. Yep. I didn't know that the measles viral infection affects human behavior. I never thought about this like that, but it does make sense. The way that we feel is going, whatever that we get infected by is going to create a chain of reactions with our system that exists already. So we have, again, some reactions in our body that are installed in childhood based on X, Y, Z, genetics, but also upbringing. And we're going to react to things in a different ways based on all of those things. And so when we are facing those things, it's not the thing, it's how we respond to that thing. Because a lot of people may be facing the same thing and have totally different responses. So think about COVID, for instance. The vast majority of us, we had COVID in some capacity. Some of us are okay, some of us didn't make it. Some of us have seen some changes in our health because of that. And some people may argue, and I don't disagree with that, but it's also to do with the vaccines in some capacity. But it's never just the thing. We are the thing. And whatever is happening around us is going to reveal which that we are. I hope it makes sense. Pumpkin Puff. Oh, hello. Hi, Didi. How are you doing today? I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for asking. How about you? AI, thanks for the MSG. We'll watch again for the message. Okay, so something that I said, okay. So yes, guys, if you enjoy those sort of things, know, if you're new to my channel, that I keep all the live videos on YouTube on my profile to be replayed if you wish so. I do lives both on TikTok and YouTube. But the difference between TikTok and YouTube is that YouTube, the schedule is guaranteed. I have decided that every Wednesdays and Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time, I will do YouTube live for sure. So you can't miss me. So you can maybe see if it fits your schedule. Whereas on TikTok, I just go there whenever I can. Sometimes I don't. It all depends on my availability. And also, the other difference is that on YouTube, I leave all my live streams videos on my profile. So you just need to click the video section and you have all of them. So if you ask me any question, you can always replay the live to retrieve whatever information may be useful to you. Just saying. Thank you, AI. Bandit Zero. What is mindfulness? I find it hard to understand. Okay, so it's a very good question because everyone talks about it. Mindfulness is, how can I say that? Is the practice, the philosophy, the concept of being present. That's it. It is as simple as that. It's learning how to be here and now. Now, it seems very simple and even simplistic, but actually it's the hardest thing to do because we have not been taught that. And we're all conditioned to live in the past and the future. So our mind is always thinking about stuff that happened to us yesterday or just 5 minutes before. We're analyzing, judging, comparing, being angry, and the future. Anxiety, fear, worries, projections, and because of that, now we are creating a lot of unhappiness and suffering because we are all over the place and we're trying to deal with all of those things, forgetting that there's only now. And if we can learn how to anchor ourselves to the breath, to this moment, to what is immediate to our surroundings, now we can find out that right here and now is peace. Everything is fine. Right around now, there's nothing for me to worry about. There's nothing for me to be angry about. And so we're learning how to have a better relationship with our thoughts, with our emotions and feelings, sensations, and our reactions to the world, by learning how to come back to the present moment. So mindfulness is just a big umbrella term that encompasses so many things. Meditation is one of the ways we practice mindfulness. But we can be also mindful of things that we are doing. So the way that I explain it is that mindfulness focuses on, we can use and we should use mindfulness in the two aspects of our life. Think about yin and yang. Sometimes we do, sometimes we allow. Sometimes we have, sometimes we let go of. So basically those are the main things. And so mindfulness is fully investing yourself in either doing or observing, accepting, allowing. Because we can't always control things. We don't want to always control things. And so we must realize that there's a time to take action, to try to change our reality, to do things that we want to do, to create what we want to create. And there are times when we want to chill and rest, but also accept that sometimes we try to change our life and it's not happening and it's okay. So observing is what we do through the practice of mindfulness and meditation in a passive way. In an active way, is to fully focus on what you're doing. And this is what we call going with the flow. If you are creative, if you are a sport person, you go into the state of flow because you love what you're doing, and in those moments, you're no longer yourself. You are the thing that you're doing. You don't think, you don't compare, you are in the moment. And this is where you are the best at doing that thing. This is where everyone is the best at whatever they're doing when they're in that state of flow. And the concept of mindfulness allows this. We can observe, allow, accept, or we can take an action. We can follow our highest excitement and get lost into that thing. Right? But the moment we think about any of those things, now we create suffering because we're no longer in the moment. We're in the past or the future. As soon as we think about what we are watching, we're no longer observing, we're judging. And now we're getting angry, we're getting anxious. as soon as we start to think about what we're doing, now we're going to have fear, impatience. We're focusing on the outcome. Are we there yet? Why is it not working? What's wrong? Am I going to make it? And so, yes, mindfulness is learning how to be here and now, and accept and realize and practice this so that we can optimize our experience as a human being. It's a huge tool in psychology and therapy, but it's also a practice of its own that is rooted in Eastern philosophies and spirituality. So Buddhism, Taoism, all of those things, they are really Zen, all of those things, they're all there to essentially tell us the same story, which is a system, a lifestyle, a way of being, and a way of experiencing reality that will optimize our experience as a human being. I don't know if it helped. Does it make sense, Matthew? It's not Matthew. What do I say, Matthew? Bandit Zero. Pumpkin Puff. I'm fine today, a bit stuck in my thoughts and stressing about being overwhelmed. Okay? So if you are stressing about being overwhelmed, you are maintaining the stress because of the fear of something that may happen. And at some point you're going to manifest that prophecy that you are creating for yourself, right? We can talk about this if you want. If you are stuck in your thoughts, all you've got to do, and we can try to do this together, is to choose another thought, choose another train of thought. There's one analogy that is used in mindfulness, and it's that your state is depending on your thoughts. And your thoughts are like buses. So let's imagine you are waiting for your bus to go home, and there are different buses that arrive, and they have a different title. So let's say you are waiting for the bus that brings you inner peace and mental clarity. But it's not there yet. You have a bus that comes and it's about overthinking, or maybe anxiety and worry. And so if you jump on that bus, you're trapped until the end of the ride. And you're going to either overthink or worry or any other thing. And now, once you finish that ride, you're back into where you are and you can wait again for the bus that you really want. And so this is what you want to do. You want to realize that your thoughts are just buses and you can choose which one you're going to allow or just let pass. So you want inner peace, you want mental clarity, maybe you want inspiration, whatever that you want, stay where you are and allow for all your thoughts to pass like the buses. Anger, revenge, resentment, let go of that bus, let it pass. Fear, doubt, low self-esteem, whatever, let go of that bus. And so on and so forth. And then eventually, at some point, your bus will come. The bus that is all to do with feeling good, feeling safe, feeling at peace. And that's when you jump into that bus, in that thought. And then you have a fantastic ride. And then you do it again, right? Thank you for the little heart. All the words are taken. Great question, Bandit Zero. So I hope I answered it. And everyone can get something out of it. Pumpkin Puff. Are there any simple, quick methods to help with anxious thoughts that put me into a freeze state or frantic state? So the reason why we suffer is because we are seeking simple, quick methods. I want you to realize that your health, your happiness is important. It's valuable. It's the most important thing. So you don't want to dismiss it. Do you have something quick, something easy, something that I can use like that, a little magic pill, and then I get rid of it? You want to think differently. You want to invest yourself. It's important. You want to invest time, focus, intention, love, because it matters. Until you do that, you will probably suffer from anxiety. Just 1 second, please. My watch is telling me to post my last TikTok of the day, so I'm going to do this now again. I've got ADHD. If I don't do it right here and now, it will disappear into the limbo. Is using God. Okay, so now it's out.
So apparently people are saying...
That's out. Thank you. Sorry about this. So yes, so what you want to do is to really give yourself what you need. Realize, I deserve this. It's a lot of work, but I deserve this. It's a lot of hassle, but it's not, because there's nothing else that matters more to me than my own well-being. So I'm going to address, I'm going to learn, I'm going to take my time, I'm going to make some time, I'm going to prioritize this and make it my mission, my obsession, my goal to fix my habits that creates the anxiety. Right? So there are methods that can make you feel better in the moment, but they're not going to address the root cause of the issue. So you're going to, it's like taking a painkiller. You feel better in the moment. But then if you don't address whatever pain fracture that you have, it's going to be painful as soon as the effect of the painkiller is gone, because you have not addressed maybe hurting, breaking your arm. You need to heal that arm first, right? And this is what I'm trying to say. And again, it's not your fault. We all do this. We live in a society and a culture that is telling us that we can fix everything with a magic pill, because people want to sell their stuff, and they want people to be stuck into their maze, so that they can keep being confused, so that they can keep being manipulated. And so, yes. So if you have anxious thoughts, there are a lot of things that you can do about it. But the main thing that I want to say really is to invest in yourself, because you deserve it. Right. Now we can talk about this. If you give me some more specific details about what sort of thoughts you have, I'm more than happy to address them, but I need to know what they are. What are the anxious thoughts that puts you into a state of freeze and frantic state? If you could tell me about pumpkin puff, we can go there. Pumpkin puff. I'm sorry, I mistyped that. All right. Don't be sorry. We're having conversations. Everything, it's a dialogue, so everything is good. Everything brings something to the flow of that chat. Samson Whitquit. So something in Japanese. I think it looks Japanese. Let me see if there's a translation. There's no translation up, so I don't know what it means. Sorry, Samson. Lately, a lot of people have been thinking that I'm Korean. Maybe you think that I'm Japanese, but I'm neither. And even if I'm Chinese originally, genetically. But even if you wrote in Chinese, I don't read Chinese anyway. So I'm sorry. I appreciate the effort of sharing how maybe you have some interest in some different culture. But I don't know what it means. Pumpkin puff. Okay, I didn't realize I was making myself worse trying to get a quick fix. Okay, so there you go. So something that I said made sense. Yes, you don't want a quick fix. Give yourself some time, some love, some effort, some attention, because this is what will get you started into a solid journey of self-discovery and finding out what best system are for you at this point in time to address your anxiety. Thank you, Pumpkin Puff. Kay Stevens, I think you're awesome. Yes, we deserve a breath of fresh air. Okay, thank you. Thank you. PM, I get heavy sweating in public speaking. Sir, help me. Okay. So something that I can give you. So again, it can be so many different things, but when it comes to public speaking, there's one hack that can be used a lot by many of us, is to realize that the reason why you get sweaty and you're scared and anxious and stressed out is because you are looking at yourself from the perspective of people who are watching you. How do I come across? How do I look like? Do I look stupid? Can they hear me? Do they find me interesting? Are they laughing at me? Are they mocking me? And as long as you do this, it's all happening at a subconscious level, but as long as you do this, you're going to suffer, because it's full of judgment and insecurities. So what you want to do is to, instead of looking at yourself from their perspective, from people looking at you and judging you, look at yourself from your perspective. I am here, I'm going to speak to them, I'm going to give them that. I've got something important, special, interesting to give them, and I'm going to do my best to express that, and the right people will get it, and the one who don't, it's their problem. It's got nothing to do with me. Whatever they do or say has got nothing to do with me. My job is to speak to them and to share that very important information that I have. So think about what you are going to give them. And now you become an actor. Now you become an avatar. Ah, this is me. This is me doing my show. And this is how a lot of people are different on stage. If they are musicians, actors, compared to real life, because they're not focusing on other perspective than their own. An actor is going to think, oh, today, right here, right now, I am William Shakespeare, and this is what I'm doing, blah, 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 to be or not to be, whatever. So they're in the character, they're in the character, so they see things from the perspective of the character. And this is what you want to do when you're going, again, public speaking. Be that person, create that avatar. Who am I? What am I going to give them? Instead of, what are they thinking of me? Do I look good? Do I look stupid? So I hope it makes sense. But something also that you can rehearse. So I used to do it myself. I used to be a musician when I was younger. And I used to rehearse to play live before I came to London and play with my rock band. And so we would spend a lot of time back in 1993, a long time ago, playing in the garage of one of our friends. And what we do, we'll face, so we have our instrument, and we'll be facing a lot of pots of paintings, a lot of them, because his dad likes to paint or do DIY. So there's a lot of different tools, but a lot of pots of paintings. And we would stack them in a way that it looks like a bunch of people. And as we play, I would imagine playing in front of English people. I would see a bunch of British people, but in my head it was English because I grew up in France, and to me, London was the place of music, the most important place in the world when it comes to music. And so we did so many hours, week after week, of rehearsing, and every time I would visualize myself doing my stuff, playing, moving, whatever, with all those people watching me. The first day we came to London, it was a Saturday night. We played in a venue called the Borderline in Soho, and it's like, I think 500% capacity, which for someone who's never played live, it's very intimidating. And it's Saturday, so we are supporting a band, and it was full. And so I went on stage, and I thought that I had a little bit of pain in my stomach. And I thought that it was me having stage fear, stage fright. But then I realized it's not that. It's because they paid us with beers. So I was an alcoholic back then, and they basically paid us with a bucket full of ice and beers. And so for me, before we played, I was like, free beer. I drank a lot of them. Because of this, it has got nothing to do with stage fear, with the stage fright. Because as soon as I started the intro of the first song, bang, I felt at home. I felt like I was in the garage watching all those pants. I did exactly whatever. I was super comfortable, super easy, because I was being that version of myself, performing, doing my thing, giving them something. And then at the end of the first song, bang, everyone applauded. I was reminded, gosh, where am I? I'm in a venue in Soho in London playing on a Saturday night. And I was like, gosh, I forgot about it. It's all right, no problem. And I carried on. And we had a fantastic gig and had a fantastic time. But then right after, when it was done, because I was neurotic, I was suicidal, I had a lot of mental health problems, I was an alcoholic and a drug addict. After that, I became very weirdo again, super reactive. But for that moment on stage, I was someone else. I was in the flow, and I loved it. And so this is what you want to do when you are doing public speaking. You want to learn about all of those different ways. Think about the things that I talked about, essentially, and spend some time absorbing those principles and see how you can use those things for yourself. I hope it helps. And also, just a reminder again, that live stream will stay on my profile. So if you want to retrieve information right after I'm done, I will make sure that I upload that live video on my YouTube profile, so you can replay it. Right? So does it help? PM. But then the other things we can do, you can do some breathing, and it also depends on whether or not you may have some phobia or some trauma specifically to do with being in front of people. So there may be some deeper things to address. But if you try this, maybe this could be enough to already help you. Wimster. Hello, back at you. Pumpkin puff. When I am in a freeze state, for example, I sit and zone out, but the inside of my mind is rushing 1,000,000 miles an hour. Sometimes it's paranoid thoughts, other times it's just everything I need to do. So when you are going into a state, it's because, remember I was talking at the beginning of that live about those subconscious triggers, subconscious cues that are switching on some responses that are essentially our subconscious emotional program. And so this is what is happening. Something external or internal has created that reaction. Your body is creating some cascade of chemicals that it thinks you must go have in that moment. And so it's really bad. I would consider therapy. Get someone to help you, right? If you don't have access to it, if you don't want to do this, you can learn how to practice mindfulness and meditation over a long period of time. You can try different somatic exercises to let go, to change your very state. Do you have you noticed any patterns of going into the states? Are there things that often get you into the states? Is it when you go outside? Is it when you're surrounded by certain people? When you're going to do certain tasks? When you are hearing certain words or observing certain behaviors? Because you could actually realize that you do this in response to that. So that you could actually address it like that as well. You can also implement changing some habits within your lifestyle and your environment and making sure that you avoid certain situations that would get you into a state of freeze. This is very important to realize that when we work on ourselves, we want to work in and out of ourselves. So inside, it means changing our belief, changing our triggers, our emotional blocks, or any of those things. But outside means changing our environment, changing our lifestyle, changing what we do and the people that surround us. We can really do both, and we should be doing both to optimize our healing journey and our personal growth at a general level as well. So now I'm going to ask you, what are those thoughts? You say, inside of my mind is rushing 1,000,000 miles an hour. So I would like to have an insight into that mind, please. What sort of thoughts are rushing inside of your mind for zillions of miles per hour in those moments? If you can tell me that, now we have something to work on. What sort of paranoid thoughts? Paranoid about what? About your health? About people? About stuff falling from the sky? Give me something, please. Pumpkin puff. It can feel kind of all over the place at times. I just don't know why I'm stuck. Thinking of what I need to do seems so overwhelming. So now we're going to talk about just that. If you are overwhelmed because of the things that you have to do, it's very simple. It's your body, your mind trying to regulate your nervous system, thinking that it's too much. So now it's going to get you into a state of freeze so that you don't get to do that thing. Because it thinks that you're going to fail or that you're going to get hurt if you get started doing that thing. And it's similar to procrastination, but it's the next level, right? When you are going to a freeze state, it's a much more acute state of procrastination, if you could call it like that. But essentially, your mind, your body is telling you, don't do that thing, it's dangerous or it's too much. And it's creating a shortcut. It's shutting you down to prevent you from doing that thing, to protect you. Because it believes that it's bad. So I don't know why, we don't know yet, but this is why you freeze. It's protecting you from being in a situation that you've been before that was not good. Just 1 second, please. Does it help? Tell me more. Let's continue if you want. PM. And even I have a habit of sucking my stomach and my pelvic floor too. Please help. Is it because you want to hold your belly? Because you don't want to show your belly? Or is it something to do with breathing? Which one is it? Sometimes, if we are a bit health conscious, self-conscious, and we have a bit of stomach, we will hold the belly in. I've done that for a long time myself. And sometimes I still do it, and so I'm still working on myself to just relax and breathe. Because if we are holding the stomach, it's going to affect our breathing. Now, instead of breathing through our stomach, we're going to breathe through our chest. And when we breathe through our chest, we are having some shallow breath. that can absolutely trigger a state of anxiety. If we breathe here, now we're going to hyperventilate, and we're going to tell our body mechanically through the process of breathing shallowly, I don't know if it's in a shallow way, that we want to go from a state of peace to a state of survival. I'm doing this to get ready for the bad stuff. So now you are physiologically switching your body to be stressed out, to be on a survival mode, and that's going to create a lot of problems as far as your talk is concerned. So learn how to not do that. Learn how to breathe through your belly. Learn about mindful breathing. Check it out on Google. Any type of mindful breathing. Learn how to breathe through the belly, in and throughout the mouth, out. And you want to essentially breathe out for a longer time than you breathe in. And that will reset your nervous system and prevents you from going into a state of fight, flight, freeze. It's not fight, flight, freeze. It's a state of fight or flight. PM, and I have people in falling asleep also. So if they're falling asleep, it can be for all sorts of reasons. Maybe it's not because of you. Because I have ADHD, when I was younger, I used to fall asleep all the time at school, whenever I was at school. And I couldn't help, because the voice of the teacher, rah, 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 it would be impossible for me to keep it up. Even as an adult, I've done some course or attend some stuff. If it's not something that is really exciting to me, it's impossible for me to keep my eyes open. I need to put some matches. It's generally, I feel like my eyelids are 1 ton. I can't hold them, and I literally fall asleep because of ADHD, right? But for whatever reason it is, if people fall asleep, don't worry about it. Focus on you again. You see, you're talking about people are falling asleep. It doesn't matter. It's their problem. If you focus on how they are looking at you, they're falling asleep. So now you're thinking, he's boring, so that's why they're falling asleep. I'm boring, that's why I'm falling asleep. Instead, focus on you. I don't care. This is what I do. Whatever happens is out of my head. The only one thing that matters is what I do. I don't care about outcomes. I'm not going to look at myself through their perspective. I'm looking at that situation from my perspective. This is my mission. This is what I'm doing, and nothing else matters in this moment. And that's it, right? Just do that. And as you do that, you will become better at doing your speeches, your courses, whatever that you do. And you will change your energy over time, and you will learn how to do this better. And people will be also less likely to fall asleep as a result of this. Pumpkin Puff. I should mention I do have PTSD, but I've had help with that over the years. Okay, sounds can set me off. It can be a lot of things that do. I'm just struggling with being able to relax my mind. Okay, so let's talk about this. If you have CPTSD and sounds set you off, I don't know where it is. I'm always looking for it. But I have some earmuff. It must be in the other room. I have some earmuff that I use at times. I have some earplugs. Let me show you. Well, I can show you the box. There's a box here. And I have also my music. See? So basically, I also get overwhelmed at times because of loud sounds. So I have some systems in place. I know when to go. I avoid certain places. I avoid certain times. If I go to the gym and it's too noisy, I always go with my music, always. Sometimes if I'm feeling a bit reactive, it happens. If I don't sleep well, if I have some worries, I may want to put my earplugs. And when it's too much, I put my earmuff. It blocks everything. And I'm at peace again, just like that. There's a song that I often talk about. I was thinking about it because I'm doing a video and I'm going to mention and quote that song. But it's a song from a band called The from late 80s, early 90s. And the chorus goes like this. If you can't change the world, change yourself. If you can't change the world, change yourself. If you can't change the world, change yourself. But if you can't change yourself, change the world. Which one is easiest? We can't change the noise, the people, the anger, the lack of consideration, but we can change ourselves. And so get ready, create plans and strategies, know where to go and when, have your systems like me, and that will help. Now, having said that, there are also ways to address your CPTSD. You said that you had helped, but it depends at which level you feel that you have healed. I understand that my brain, because also CPTSD, but also ADHD, there are things that I cannot change depending on my state. So if I slept well, if I'm happy, if I've ate well, if I'm healthy, then I can go through anything. And if I need to go in a place that is busy, I can get myself into that mental state. I can condition myself. I'm going to be that person. I'm going to be the outgoing version of me. I'm going to be all over the place. And I can fit very well. After that, I'll be exhausted. But I can make it happen. And so it's about understanding yourself and knowing what to do in which circumstances. Right. But if you have CPTSD and you're still finding it very overwhelming, maybe you want to do some more work about the CPTSD as well. It's nothing just this or that. Right? And sometimes, for the vast majority of us, it takes years to undo problems of a lifetime. If you have CPTSD, it means that it's been there for a long time, right? So I hope it makes sense. And thank you for the little heart, whoever it is from. So yes, does that help? Pumpkin Puff. Lead back. Hello, lead back. Kay Stevens, can you tell me how the bad person starts when it became a prevalent theme in one's life? There's a lot of that habit here in our culture. Let me try to understand your question. Bad person, what does that mean? Can you tell me how the bad person, in reverse bracket, inverted commas, I think it's called, pardon my French, starts, what do you mean when a bad person starts? When it became a prevalent theme in one's life. There's a lot of, I don't understand your question, I'm so sorry. My brain can't understand this. Could you please find a way to say it in a very simple way so that I can get it? Okay, I want to answer this. I think there's something behind it, but I just don't get it. I'm going to read it one last time. Can you tell me how the bad person starts when it became a prevalent theme in one's life? I don't understand. Please clarify this for me. Laid back. Why can't I stop eating shit and drinking and taking drugs? Sick of the way my life is going and think I will be dead in a few years and still can't break the cycle. Okay, I can't talk about this. So I used to be a drug addict myself and alcoholic up to the age of 38, and I'm now teetotal and as healthy as it comes, mentally and physically. And so you eat shit, you drink, you take drugs, you're sick of the way your life is going, and you can't break the cycle. It's because you are not aware of what you should be doing. You are caught into a reality that you have created for yourself. So basically, you are the result of everything that happened to you in your childhood up to this point. So whatever has led you to need alcohol, drugs, or food is because it was your systems to regulate how you feel, to make you feel a bit better about yourself. So basically, you want to address trauma. You want to address whatever happened to you and realize that all of your problems, all the things that you're talking about, they're not the actual problem. They were the solutions to the problem, as far as you're concerned. And so you're looking in the wrong place. You're looking at the addictions. You're looking at the patterns of habits that are toxic, instead of looking at the reasons as to why you need those habits in the first place. And so for those of us who are getting into addictions, we do that because we need it. It's not because we're weak. It's not because we're inferior. It's not because there's something broken about us. It's precisely because there's a part of us that wants to survive. And so we have so much suffering, we have so much pain, we have so much unhealed trauma, we have so much anxiety, fear, self-hatred, shame, whatever that it is, that we need something so that we don't top ourselves up. And so the binge eating, the alcohol, the drugs, the addiction to internet, PORN, or anything at all of those things, they exist to basically give us a boost of feel-good chemicals so that we don't spend our whole life suffering and hating ourselves and hating the world. And so if you want to change this, you can change this. I was there myself. I was a very different person, and not only me, but a lot of my friends and many of my clients as well. It's absolutely possible to change, but you have to look in the right place, and you need to change first the way you look at yourself. You are not broken, you are not a problem, you are no more, no less than a natural consequence of whatever happened to you up to this point. You didn't choose your trauma, you didn't choose your childhood, you didn't choose your bullies, you didn't choose whatever you've been through that have created the systems that you need now to function. If I didn't have alcohol and drugs and sex and music back then, I wouldn't be alive. I tried to unalive myself many times, but if I didn't have all of those things, I would have tried even harder. I would have probably succeeded. And so it was my way to buy time until something better happens in my journey. And it happened eventually. And so I was able to change and let go of those habits that were no longer needed, that became redundant and obsolete then. And so don't feel bad because you have some habits. You created those habits because you needed them. And whatever are the reasons, maybe you are neurodivergent. Maybe you had, again, trauma, neglect, or both, like me, like so many of us. And so this is why you have created that. And because you've done this all your life, and because you probably suffer from anxiety, from overthinking, from depression, from dark thoughts, from helplessness, from overwhelm, from frustration, because of that, and because you've been doing it for such a long time, that's all that you have done, and that's all that you know. Everything that we do, everything that we think, everything that we feel are skills. You have reinforced those skills over time. You have become very good at seeing darkness. You have become very good at being disempowered. You have become very good at anger, anxiety, self-hatred, and hatred of others, maybe, I don't know. I used to hate people. And so these are just skills that we reinforce over time. We don't realize this. It starts with a program that we have designed to protect ourselves from whatever happened to us then. But then, because we don't upgrade it as we grow up, it stays with us. And as we reinforce those by virtue of repetition and time, it gets out of whack, it gets out of control, it develops into a lot of different things. It becomes what we call maladaptive. And now it's affecting our life when originally it was meant to protect us. I hope it makes sense. So what I'm saying is let go of the shame, let go of the powerlessness. You are exactly where you should be at this point in time based on everything that happened to you up to this point. But you can change. Because you are in that state, because this is your reality, because this is what you experience, because this is what you know, doesn't mean that it's going to be like that forever. Because you feel like shit, because you feel that you're not in control of anything, doesn't mean that it's your destiny. It only means that you have been fulfilling the program that you created for yourself. But when you understand this, when you have awareness, you can think, I can change this. Because you are no more no less than a collection of habits. You are a collection of habits of thought, habits of emotions, feelings, habits of reactions, habits of behavior. And all of those habits, since they are habits, they can be replaced. You have become very good and skilled at all those habits that suck. But if you think about it, I want you to look at the state of your life, and it may seem like overwhelming. It's a mountain of shit. It's terrible. I don't know where to get started. I hate everything. It was always everyone is bad. My life was always terrible. But I want you to realize that the scale of the chaos, you created this. You have that power to create something that gigantic, that immense. But you created this only because you believed, your mind, subconscious mind believed that this is what you wanted. And so now, let's flip it around and imagine what you could create for yourself if you change your program. If you change your belief system, instead of creating bad stuff, focus on healing, focus on growth, focus on hope, focus on trust. Focus on all those things. Focus on reconnecting with your emotions. Focus on self-love. And as you do that, now you can do this. You can create the same skill, but with the good stuff. And so be aware of your own power. You are not a victim. You are not disempowered. You are not helpless. You have all that power. You just need to redirect your energy and that power in another direction. You do this by addressing your belief system and realize that you don't need to fear or be angry at whatever you feared or were angry at up to this point, which is the cause of the problem. So we're talking about fear, trauma, shame, and limiting belief. Does it help? Laid back. Luke B. Not very laid back. This is not very kind of you, Luke. I'm laughing because it's silly, but you know, that person is sharing their heart and I'm creating a safe space. So please be kind. Yeah. Pumpkin Puff. Oh, everything under the sun, disasters, death of others or myself. Fear that stress is killing me. That something will happen to my family. I'm in public, it's other people. So you have very dark patterns of thought. Okay. So you want to challenge those thoughts. You want to learn how to practice something that we call cognitive diffusion. And basically, it's having an insight on your own thoughts. You are not your thought. You're the person behind the thought. You are the consciousness, the awareness thinking about those thoughts. And so you can choose different thoughts. Those thoughts, they're not telling you the truth, always, not always. They're not telling you something also that you must obey. They're just thoughts. So you want to learn how to take your thoughts with a pinch of salt. Don't believe everything that you think. Think about, you can visualize a lot of thoughts that are coming in, through you, out of you, as you talk to people. Just thoughts. Which ones are you going to hold in? Which one are you going to give it a platform? Which one are you going to choose to entertain in your mind? Which one are you going to believe? Which ones are you going to take action on? You can choose that. So think to yourself, I am not thinking a thought. I'm realizing that I'm thinking a thought. Create a space between you and the thought. Right? I'm realizing that I'm having that thought. So you are not the thought. You are the person. I'm having that thought. So what is the thought? So let's take some examples. Disaster, death of others or myself. So let's take that. Disaster. I'm thinking, oh, a big disaster is going to happen. I'm in the middle of London. For some reason, I'm worried that there's going to be an earthquake or a tsunami or a deluge of meteorites. So let's address that thought. Is it true? Can I, with observable proof and evidence, confirm that that thought is true? No. How often have we had invasion of aliens in London or whatever that you could think about? No, it's just ridiculous. It's not true. Number one. Number two, ask yourself, is it useful for me to have that thought now that I know that it's not true? Does it help me in a way? Does it serve my well-being, my health, my happiness? No, it's making me feel terrible. Not useful. Number three, is it kind? Because we want to be kind to ourselves. It's not kind at all. It's creating fear. It's creating anxiety. It's creating me freezing. Not kind. And so it's not true. It's not useful. It's not kind. You know what? Let go of that thought. Let it out. Let it out. Choose. I'm going to choose to let go of that thought. And instead, I'm going to choose a new, better thought. So instead of thinking about the disaster or someone of my family dying, maybe they're going to have an accident. Again, is it true? Does it happen often? No. Is it useful? No. Is it kind? No. Instead, think, okay, now I'm going to choose a better thought. I mean, you think about my family member, maybe coming from school or from work, and they are chilling, and I want to visualize them being happy, enjoying themselves. They had a good day, they're chilling, maybe they're having a drink with some colleagues, and it's fine, and they're safe, and they're happy, and they're on the way home, and they're going to go, I don't know, in the supermarket on the way back in and get you your favorite food or whatever. And so think about some happy things instead. Choose better scenarios in your head. Is there going to be a deluge of meteorites in the middle of Leicester Square? No. Think, you know what? I'm in London. I'm going to look at the sky. It's a lovely weather. There's a little bit of clouds, but I can enjoy the weather at this time of the year, and I'll enjoy the fresh air, and I can daydream a little bit above the clouds. It's all good. Think about good stuff. Choose good thoughts so that you can feel better about yourself. And just like that, you are starting a new skill, the skill of choosing better thoughts, the skill of not associating yourself with everything that you think. It's a skill. So it's going to take practice, repetition, 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 and more repetition. But the brain learns by repetition. Everything that you know is the result of repetition. And so all you need to do is to remind yourself that your brain can only do so many things. So whatever you do becomes your default mode. So the more you do something, the more whatever you don't use disappear. So you don't need to let go of a habit. I don't want to overthink. I don't want to think about bad things. Instead, choose better thoughts. Learn how to be optimistic. Learn how to be positive. Learn how to be, do it as much as your heart allows you. You don't want to create toxic positivity. But basically find a way to create a more positive narrative and self-talk. And that over time, and repetition, will become easier. Everything is hard when it's new and different, but equally true, everything becomes easier by simple virtue of repetition. That's it. No plasticity. Thank you for the little heart. So yes, does it help? Pumpkin puff. Look B, mindful breathing. Yes, absolutely. Breathe mindfully. A very important skill for all of us. Laid back. Look B, I used to be. All right. D'Artagnan, I will cure you, young man. So I'm not sure who you're talking to, but please be mindful. I'm using that platform to help people. So hopefully no trolls or cruel jokes on my channel, please. Otherwise I will have to get rid of you. Not because I take things personally, but because it's important for me to have a safe space for everyone. Okay? And if you want to ask me questions about you, I would love to help you out as well, whatever that you want to talk about. Pumpkin Puff. I do have a dog who is a fantastic support pup. Fantastic, yes, dogs are awesome. She knows when I'm struggling and does everything to snap me out of that state. Fantastic, fantastic, yes. I love dogs. We used to have dogs up till April. And we're not going to have any for now, but we will have some in the future because life with dogs is a whole different level of happiness and mindfulness as well. They teach us about so much. Mr. Muscles, what do you think the purpose of this life is? Okay, the purpose of life is for us to experience our human experience. That's it. If we look at things from the perspective of the ego, the purpose of life is going to be something like what everyone else is thinking. I must be of service to humanity. I must do something spectacular and grandiose. I must be amazing. That's my purpose. And it's not like that. Our purpose is just to experience who we are, what we can do, and how we can make the most of our human experience, regardless of however we started this life. This is our purpose in life, is to find out who we are and what we can do, no matter what it is. I hope it makes sense. People get confused because they look at things from the perspective of the ego and society. And so they have a certain idea of what purpose should be, and it's not like that. Your purpose is literally just to be you and experience being a human being, whatever that it entails, whatever that you do or don't do. It doesn't matter. Every experiences are valid, and this is the purpose. Now, some of us may have an awareness, a higher level of awareness, and may want to make the most of our human experience. But some of us may not. Some of us may spend their life on a survival mode, and they are not to be looked down on. It's not their fault. Or maybe it's their choice. They're choosing to come into this life to experience that life. We don't know. Maybe some people come into this life to experience what it is to have a terrible illness at a young age and die very young. Some people come into this life to suffer, to be horrible, to be narcissist, psychopath, sociopath. Maybe it's the experience that they want to experience in their life. That's the purpose of the life of life. It's just to find out about our existence and what we are meant to experience, regardless, without judgment. Judgment is something that humans have created. So it's something that we experience when we look at things from the perspective of the ego, of the human being. But if you can zoom out, and if we are a bit spiritual, and we are becoming the observer, without judgment, we can realize, things are what they are. We don't need to judge them. The universe doesn't judge anything. In the universe is everything in space and time. And as far as the universe is concerned, there's no chaos. Everything exists for a reason. Everything is connected. And so the good and the bad is like the yin and the yang. It all happens for a reason. And we must accept it. Hope it makes sense. What do you think about it, Mr. Muscles? Luke B. I learned that I have ADHD in adulthood. My doctor tested me. Okay. So how do you feel ever since you found out? Mr. Muscles, fine, ignore me. I'm not ignoring anyone. I apologize if I came across like that, but I'm always behind. So I will come across every single comment, but way behind. It is live, and I'm reading every comment. Right now, it is 7:45 p.m. So if you have written any comment and I'm behind, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just taking my time to really, really go in depth with every comment. That's it. So if you're still here, please, I hope that you get this now and that you get your answers. I don't ignore anyone. Look, be patient. To Mr. Muscles. Yes, that's the point. But maybe he didn't know. So that's fair enough. Look, B, music helps big time. Yes, absolutely. Laid back. I am back. Oh, hello. I didn't know you were gone. Laid back. Sorry, my battery went. It's all right. Look, B, at laid back. How often do you exercise? Serious questions. So this is between you. So you talk between each other. Laid back. Me. Look, B, yes. Laid back. I used to work out, weight, and... Oops. I don't know what I've done. Oops. I pressed the camera button by accident. That's why it was dark. Gosh, me and my clumsy fingers. Let me read. Laid back. I used to work out weight and a little bit of running. But if I'm honest with myself, it's been about a year since I was in a routine and done at least 3 sessions a week. Okay. K. Stevens. We good? The bad? Constant comparing to other people. Oh, all right, okay. So why do we compare ourselves with others? Okay, let's talk about this. The reason we compare ourselves with others is because everything is relative, and we need a reference to know which that we are. And so that's where we invented comparison. Everything is relative, everything is contextual, nothing exists on its own. Nothing knows what it is until there's something else to compare itself with. And so the example that I often give is that if I'm on my own on a desert island, I don't know if I'm tall or short. I don't know if I'm anything at all, because I need to have a comparison. So that's why we have comparisons. We need to find out who we are. And comparing is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a context, right? We need to know where we are so that we have an idea of the world. But it becomes a problem when we become fixated to it, when it becomes an obsession. And so some of us who are always worried about everything, we're always comparing ourselves. How do I look like? How do I sound like? How do I come across? Do I look stupid? Do I look good? Or whatever that we may think. We get obsessed. But the problem is not the behavior. The problem is the belief behind it. Why do we feel so insecure? Why are we obsessed with that? Why can't we let go of it? Why are we always thinking about it? This is what we want to address. We're always looking in the wrong place. But we compare originally because we need to have some frame of reference. But also it's a very good conversation to have, because we can realize that the things that are happening to us in life, when we judge them as bad, we're looking at it from one perspective. We could actually switch it around and realize, those bad things that are happening to me, so it's reminding me that I had good things before and that I can get them again. It's a different mindset. We can practice gratitude, acceptance in this moment, and realize that the next moment, something else is going to happen. It's going to be good, hopefully. And if not the next moment, the next moment. Does it help? Kay, is it what you wanted to hear? Does it clarify your question? Look, B at laid back. I just noticed you sound a lot like me before I started exercising again. Ah, okay, I can see where you're coming from. So maybe I could be wrong, but it's true that when you exercise, it does help. But it's not just that, right? We don't want to oversimplify things. I'm not saying that you are, but I see a lot of people online who are saying, don't be such a pussy, mental health is not true, just go to the gym. Go to the gym, meditate, walk, eat well, and there should be no mental health. And it's not that simple. It's not as simple. We're all very vastly complicated and intricate, so it depends. Some people can have so much benefit, and it's true, the physical training is huge. I love it myself. It's helped me a lot. I love my training, my lifestyle. But we want to really have enough empathy to realize that we're all different, and maybe it's a good advice, but maybe not. So I want to make sure that we're not going to push the toxic rhetoric. You know, you should do this, you should do that. We don't know. However, as a recommendation, as an advice, it's greatly appreciated, and I agree with that. Look, B, I've been there, brother. Okay, so maybe you used the gym to feel better about yourself, and it worked for you, and I'm very happy for you. Look, B, it's not a cure-all. It helped me though. Okay, fantastic. So we agree. Fantastic. I'm just very cautious because I see so much comments on the internet, and sometimes I'm like, oh. I'm glad. Thank you that you're not one of them. Pumpkin Puff. Yes, everything you've said so far is helpful. I appreciate your insight. Thank you. Thank you so much. Laid back. I haven't had a bad upbringing, but from the age of 19, I've been in and out of jail. And the last time I'd done 8.5 years, I've been out 3 years and done well for myself. So you said you haven't had a bad upbringing, and yet you ended up in jail. And so we don't have to, it depends. It's tricky because very often we believe that a good or a bad upbringing should look like this or like that. But a bad upbringing, to me, is not necessarily something that we may have awareness of, because we may suffer from cognitive distortion. You know, we can't accept. We seem to be okay. We had everything that we were supposed to have, but yet we end up in jail. And so what I'm saying is that our behavior are more accurate in telling us about what sort of upbringing we had. And so if you say, I did have an upbringing, but then you've been in and out of jail, there's something that doesn't work there. And it's not about the upbringing, it's about the fact that you may have inherited some belief that has caused you to end up in jail. I don't know. I think let's see how the thread unfolds. But let me read. So I haven't had a bad upbringing, but from the age of 19, I've been in and out of jail. And the last time I've done 8.5 years, because that's a long time, right? I've been out 3 years and done well for myself. So I'm glad. So I'm going to focus on the positive. Thank you. And I'm glad that you're doing well. If you want to talk about yourself, I would love to do this. Because now I'm starting to realize that there's more depth about you since I have more information from you. So laid back, if there's anything else that you believe I could add to your toolbox, ask me anything, and I'm more than happy to do my best to suggest something useful. Pumpkin Puff. I have a lot of work on. No, I have a lot to work on, but it feels like it's a mountain of issues in me that I'm just a monster. Okay. Because you are still looking at yourself from the perspective you have been looking at yourself up to this point. If you look at yourself like a monster, you are judging yourself. You are looking at yourself from the perspective of the people who judge you and created all your pain. And so to them, you're a monster. Maybe to them, you're not enough. Maybe to them, you're malicious. Maybe to them, you are incompetent, or whatever word that you used during that thread. So because of that, the voice is reverberating in the back of your mind, and now you're talking to yourself in the same way. And you think that is true. It's not. It's their voice that is echoing in the back of your mind. You don't need to think about yourself like that. See yourself from a different perspective than from the perspective of your bullies, or the people who judge you, the people who put so much expectations in you, the people who cannot love you unconditionally, the people who can only love you if you behave in a certain way, if you are successful, if you please them, if you are making them proud, any of those things. So learn to look at yourself from the perspective of someone who wants you to do well, who cares for you, who loves you, who can see your beauty. Change that perspective. And this is how you start. You cannot change anything until you start to see yourself under a better light. As long as you hate yourself, you will do nothing to change that because you hate that self. Why would you do anything to a self that you hate? And so change the way you look at yourself. Learn how to highlight the good things about you. Play in your mind through meditation, through self-reflection, some things that you are proud of you, or of, something that you like about yourself, some achievements that you have done, some things that you have learned, whatever, there are tons of things that you can find. And remind yourself of those things. And start to highlight those things. And start to dismiss all the other things. And over time, it will become easier for you to see a better, more lovable version of yourself. And the moment you start to love yourself more, everything will be easier. Because you love yourself, so you need to do everything to make sure that that self succeeds. But it starts with self-love. Thank you for the little heart. Laid back. But I have eaten a lot of shit as long as I can remember. But the last 2 years, I've done a lot of ice and alcohol. All right. Okay. So you're still taking drugs. Okay. It's a bit of a problem if you still take drugs and alcohol. We can talk about this. I used to be addicted myself, like very, very bad. Drugs, alcohol. I was homeless from a very young age. So I was a very different person. I didn't go to jail. I was lucky enough. But many of my friends did. So I was lucky. But I get many things that you have shared so far from an emotional perspective. So we can talk about it if you want. It's possible, and also you want to really do your best to let go of those habits, because otherwise you are in a very precarious state. I hate to say. Stina, is there anything you miss from this old life? No, because it's not a different life. I'm still alive. It's part of my story. It's the same story, right? Everything that happened to me in the past has made me who I am today, and I will keep on growing and evolving for the rest of my life, every single day. So it's about realizing that we are a story that is unfolding. It's not me versus my past. I do say it like that, right, colloquially, and it's true that I was a different person back then, and I had a different life. But the truth is that if we zoom out, I'm still that person. I have just learned to grow from those lessons as opposed to suffer from them. That's the difference. I've changed my mindset and my heart set, and I've healed many things. Not everything, but most things. The most problematic things now out of the way. And then for the rest of my life, I'm going to address the little bits and bobs that are still there every now and then. And I may not even want to change all of them, because no, it's okay to have quirks and imperfections. This is what makes us humans, and it's not a big deal. And so I don't miss anything from the past, because everything that happened to me has now become a literal lesson to everything that I am now. I wouldn't be what I am if I didn't go through everything that I've been through. And so, yeah, I practice and I teach mindfulness as part of the tools that I use with therapy. And so I'm in the moment. I'm really, I don't care about the past. I don't have any regrets. I fixed everything that I had to fix. And I have no problem going back there every now and then if I need to. But I spend so much time living in the past and the future that I don't need to do that anymore. And I'm genuinely, if I was going to highlight any success of my personal transformation, is really the ability to be present and to no longer suffer those habits that the vast majority of us do because of our education and upbringing. No one teaches mindfulness at school. I mean, it's studying a little bit, but this is the sort of things that we should really teach from the youngest age, and we should also change the structure of society. But this is a different conversation, different debate. But thank you, Stina, for the question, and thank you for the little hearts, whoever it is. Laid back. Thank you, brother. Luke B. I get it, laid back. Luke B. Don't beat yourself up, man. Yeah. Kay Stevens, to buy time, what happened to help you stop self-savaging? Oh gosh, I'm really behind. We're still in that conversation. Gosh. So to buy time, it's a process. It's never just one thing. Everything is a process. But I get it. Very often people ask me, what is the one thing that changed you? There's not one thing. It's my whole life. Everything happened for a reason and led me to the next moment that had the next insight, the next aha moment, and everything was part of it. We want to really learn how to see ourselves like full on stories, but not this moment. So we don't want to just create magic moments. We want to realize that even if we have epiphanies, for us to be able to embrace those moments, all the other moments mattered just as much. And so it's not one thing that get it, it's everything. Right? But I do have some stories about my own transformation and some big obvious triggers that created those acceleration in my transformation. However, because I'm aware that I'm so behind, I'm not going to talk about it yet today. But I'm happy to talk about it on my next live streams Friday, if you want. Friday, 6 p.m. UK time, I will come back on YouTube for another live stream. So if you want, if you are free, and if you want to talk about this, ask me again. I'm more than happy to tell you about the event that brought some accelerations into my mental clarity and my letting go of my own baggage. Now I'm going to go down as quick as I can. Benjamin, I ended up becoming an alcoholic for a few months. During this time, I had sex before marriage with men. I'm extremely disappointed in myself for doing this, and I want to turn to God, but almost feel bad. Can God accept something this bad? So it depends on your interpretation of God and what you think God is, right? God, there's no such thing as God. Because there's no such thing as one truth or one reality that is universal and fixed and the same for everyone. There's only the reality, the truth, the experience, the God that we are having in this moment. So I know that it's quite difficult for some people to accept and to get their head around. So I don't know, I hope that we can get along and that we can have a conversation because I would love to help you. But I can't talk on behalf of God because I don't know which God exists in your mind, in your reality. Right? What I would say is that the version that I have of God is fine with that. So this is it, right? And also, I'm going to go. So again, if you are serious about that conversation, I would love to explore it in great depth on Friday or next week, Wednesday. I come live on YouTube every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time. So if you enjoy this, come back and I will make sure that I continue talking about this thing in great depth. Okay? Led back, Dilican, thank you for taking the time to get back to me and giving me such an in-depth answer. Of course, I really appreciate it. And Luke B, thank you also, brother. Fantastic. Thank you, Led back. Luke B, the fact you're listening says a lot. Many folk wouldn't. Yep. JJ East Coast Art. How can we hold on to the light when we feel that we are being bombarded with darkness? I will talk about it next time. I want to, gosh, I hate this because it was a conversation that I love to talk about, but I've got to go now. I've been here for 2 hours and I've got other things to do. Please, JJ East, and anyone, if you enjoy this, subscribe to my channel so that you are notified when I go live. And hopefully, either Friday or next Wednesdays and Fridays, we can continue the conversation, okay? Please. JJ Surrender, Pumpkin Puff, would you consider choosing better thoughts a form of mindful thinking? Yes. Luke B, this feels like good advice. Thank you, Luke B. B, your tattoos are awesome. Thank you, B. Luke B, I was relating to Led back earlier. He reminded me of myself. Okay. Benjamin, I asked a personal question in the chat. If you can answer this, please. So hopefully you get it by now. Luke B, he seems to be diligently getting to all of the questions. Thank you, Luke B. Yes, indeed. Benjamin, I just realized, thank you, like how he's getting to everyone. This guy is awesome. Thank you so much, Benjamin. And I will love to talk to you about God. I'm not being facetious at all. I really mean everything that I said. And I'm coming from a psychological perspective. So maybe that could help you even have a better relationship with God. I'm very spiritual and I believe in God. Led back, where are you from, Luke B? Kay Stevens, I've wondered how cats and dogs who habitate with us feel about us. I think they are much more aware of so many things than we can see or feel. Yes, I agree. Luke B, Adelaide back, Oklahoma. Luke B, I struggle with patience and feeling like I'm always running out of or wasting time. We talk about next time, hopefully. Laid back, cool. I'm in the UK. Waving hand from laid back. Luke B, nice. K, my mum was picked on in school. I think that's why it became a paranoid obsession. What will they think to avoid feeling scared? Thank you, Didi. Yes, it helps. Fantastic. Yes, so very often our behavior is mimicked from the behavior we have observed from our parents. Richie, hello. Luke B, yes, exercise isn't a panacea. It just helps me start improving in other areas. Yes, I agree. Laid back. Right, guys, I'm off to bed. Got to work tomorrow. I really appreciate the talk and listening to me, and I will be back next time. Didi is on. Let me know. Thank you, love, from the UK. Thank you. I'm on Friday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. UK time. Luke B, keep your head up, laid back. We got this, brother. Yes, laid back. Thank you, brother. Saphir Vierge. See yourself the way God sees you, with love for his creation. Okay. K. Stevens, yes, mental health awareness is very important. To have a healthy body and lifestyle, you are really helpful about this, Didi, and human affection is the answer for ourselves too. Yep. Saphir Vierge. Eat healthy, exercise, and pray. Take care of your temple. Our bodies are precious and the only one we have. Gigi Yang, a couple of clown faces emoji. I'm not sure what it means. Pumpkin puff. Yes, I've struggled with self-love my whole life. I don't think I ever thought, but I loved myself, to be honest. Okay. Stina, thank you. Richie, is it 9 p.m. UK time in the moment? Right now, it's 6 minutes past 8 in the evening. Kay, yes, stories, other stories. Check out the song Legend of a Mind by the Moody Blues. Okay, I'll check it out. Moody Blues, absolutely classic band. I love music, so I'm going to actually type in here. So we're talking about Legend of a Mind by the Moody Blues. I'll check it out later. Richie, all the words are taken. Thanks, you, Didi. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much. Same to you. Luke B, I definitely subscribed. Fantastic. Thank you. I would like to hear more. Yes. Richie, good night. Didi, felt privileged to finally see your live streaming. Fantastic. Thank you, Richie. Pumpkin Puff, thank you for the heart. I will write down those questions for the next time. Yes, please. Because I love to hear what you have to say. Thank you very much, Didi, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will. Thank you so much. Kay Stevens, yes, Richie. Thank you, Didi. HJR, I would love to know what you love to do, Didi. I will tell you all about it on my next live. Please subscribe and come back and ask me again. Richie, hey Kay, I recognize your name. I think I may have seen you on Michael's fitness live stream. Kay Stevens, awesome. No, I'm lazy. Okay, guys. Oh, gosh, what a marathon! Thank you so much. I've got to go now. Thank you for interacting or watching it back in silence. It's all right, and I will be back Friday, 6 p.m. and every other Wednesdays and Fridays, 6 p.m. UK time. So please subscribe, follow me. If you know anyone who could benefit from my help, get them involved. And also, from Friday, I will put my first long content video in a long while. So I'm going to resume that. From Friday, every week, there's going to be one long video of me on YouTube. So that's something that I'm very excited about. We can talk about it if you want then. And I will keep on posting my shorts, both on YouTube and TikTok. So if you use both platforms, find me in both. And I do lives also on TikTok, not just on YouTube. So guys, thank you all. Look after yourself, take care. I wish you a great day or night, wherever that you are in the world. And remember to be kind to yourself. Okay. Got my hit of sanity. Thanks, Didi. Fantastic. HHAR if you have more. We'll talk about all of those things next time, okay? Guys, love you all.